Welcome, Jiggy and Joe fans. I'm Joe, and this person
I'm
is.
Max.
What a week this has been for football. Crazy games,
Crazy games, man. Across
whether
the
it be college football or the NFL. Um, Both insane games, and some teams proved themselves. Some teams did not, and did disappoint for the week. So today's show, we're gonna kind of go over different the different bets that we did and just going over the lines and seeing if we were correct or not. But Max, what'd you think of this week's slate? This past week, what'd you think?
I thought this was the best 1 o'clock slate well, it's only week 2, but like this 1 o'clock slate was highly entertaining, bro. The game's coming down to the wire. I think you had a couple games in OT, the Titans and the Lions, Seahawks went into OT.
Yep.
Um, I had Titans winning last week. You have the Chargers winning. You know what? I backed it up by betting them in a parlay with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, you even said it on the show too, because we don't cut out our bets, like we don't edit them out, we don't delete them, we keep them on here, so we're
Yep.
held accountable if
Yep.
we get them wrong. And
Yep.
I will say I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Like
Yeah. But
I just thought these were pretty good bets.
yeah, so I want to talk about the Titans game for a second. Ryan Tannehill played a lot better than he did in week 1. Um, there was a time there where I was batting an eye, and I was like, oh no, like Ryan Tannehill is going to lose this game for me. Like, what am I? I'm never betting the Titans ever again. I like the Titans defense, bro. The defensive line. We talked about this last week. They fly around to the ball. They're always around the ball. And then they got the play action going with Ryan Tannehill because the Chargers were started feeding against the run with Derrick Henry because the Titans were running it so much, so they fed up
Yeah.
against the run. And they opened up the play action game for Ryan Tannehill, which is what the Titans want to do every single week with him. Um, but I still have a hard time. But I still want to see Will Levis in that lineup. But I guess Ryan Tannehill gives them the best chance to win right now. He played really well on Sunday.
Yep. And did you
Um,
think that, the Chargers defense going to that game, does that worry you some part of the season going
yeah,
into it?
I am worried about the Chargers. Yeah, because Kellen Moore's on the Cowboys last week, and we'll get into the Jets last year. We'll get into the Jets soon. But that offense for Dallas, when Kellen Moore was offensive coordinator, wanted to light up the scoreboard. They didn't take what was given. They didn't play to Dak's strengths, and the offense was tailored around putting numbers up on the scoreboard. And now with Brian Schottenheimer as Dallas's new offensive coordinator,
Right.
Dallas's offense looks really, really good, and that says
Very
a
good.
lot about Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator, I think. And the Chargers offense, dude, uh,
There's
you
something
had
off.
Justin Herbert. You had Justin Herbert trying to fit into tight windows, what you always saw Dak doing, trying to force the ball into tight windows.
Yeah. So
And
what'd you think this year's Chargers team versus last year's Chargers team? What went wrong this year?
um,
Or what is going wrong? You never know, they could turn it around, but
to start, I think the Chargers picking up Kellen Moore was a mistake. All right, that offensive coordinator is Kellen Moore is a horrible offensive coordinator. I'm just gonna say
I
it.
agree.
I don't understand what I was watching Baldy's breakdowns of the Chargers Titans game, and Kellen Moore's offense. It doesn't seem like the guys understand what is going on. You had Mike Williams on a little flat route, and he was just standing there, and you had one Josh Palmer on the outside being pushed out of bounds by Fulton, I think it was.
Yeah.
So he was ineligible. Mike Williams was just sitting there. He wasn't even doing anything. He didn't look like he knew what he was supposed to do. There was nobody open, and Justin Herbert tried forcing it down the field. It was just a classic Kellen Moore offense. And I am worried about the Chargers. I think Brandon Staley's his seat's never been hotter. Starting
Yeah,
off two after they blew a 28-point lead against Jacksonville in the wild card game last year. His seat's never been hotter, Joe.
I agree. You
And
know,
I don't think the Chargers are gonna. I think this is it for Brandon Staley. I don't think he's gonna be the. I think their whole coaching staff is gonna be wiped out next year, rightfully so, because you have a $250 million quarterback who has elite talent, and you're not getting the best out of him again going into
that's
year 4.
that's
So
what I'm saying. Yeah.
it just doesn't. I am worried about the Chargers, and as long as Brandon Staley is the head coach there, they will not have success.
I'm not a Staley fan either, and this Chargers team reminds me of the past Cowboys teams, and as well. You have so much talent, but you just don't like like pull it off.
They can't pull it out.
No.
But I want to say this: the Chargers have a lot of talent last year too, and the year before, and the
Oh,
year
of
before
course.
that. They've had a lot of talent under Brandon Staley, but they just can't seem to get over the hump to be an elite team, and they just can't get the coaching staff can't get out of its own way. And once they get a real head coach in there that knows how to use the players to their strengths, they're gonna look like they're gonna have success like Dak's having this year. Dak's been getting killed since he's been in the league
Yeah.
because of the interceptions, the poor arm that the narrative was built on. Dak looked really good against the Jets defense on Sunday, and I think Dak's a really good player. And I've never been completely out on Dak. I've always thought he was a good player, but there's always been something wrong with that offense. And now that Kellen Moore is gone, we know it's not Dak anymore. It's unbelievable that with that much talent on the Cowboys' offensive side of the ball, Kellen Moore doesn't have success. It's unbelievable, and he's doing it again in LA, and it's driving me crazy.
Man, I agree. Is there any other games like that would point out to you that they particularly liked and think that this team's gonna go forward in the future with success? Any teams?
The Rams.
The Rams.
Rams, dude. I get excited talking about the Rams now. Bro, the Rams, Puka Nacua.
You're a Rams believer.
Phenomenal. I'm a huge Puka Nacua guy. Huge Puka Nacua guy. He has the most receptions and yards through his first 2 games a rookie has ever had in NFL history.
I'm going to be honest. I never heard of him. Never heard of him ever.
Yes, you have. We were talking about him last week.
No, I'm saying since last week, I never heard of the guy.
Neither did I. 5th round pick out of BYU.
Yep.
Guy's a stud. He's always open. He catches everything thrown his way.
Did he play with Zach Wilson?
What was that?
Did he play with Zach Wilson?
I think he did. You want to look that up real quick? I think he did.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Yeah.
But the Rams defense kept it close with that high flying 49ers offense. They kept the 49ers at bay. And the Rams are a team.
I did bet the Rams plus 7.5 that game. And there's been
the Rams?
I took the Rams plus 7.5 in the show, yeah. And going after that game, there's been some allegations with Sean McVay that he tried to either mess with the Vegas lines or awesome. Possibly betting on the game of him getting plus 7.5 against the Niners. Do you think that's anything for concern? You think they're going to look into that at any point?
No, I don't think that's a concern. I think that's fucking awesome by Sean McVay sticking up the 49ers bettors his ass.
Yeah.
Bro, that was so awesome. That's what I do with Madden, bro. I kick a field goal with 20 seconds left in the fourth. That was an ultimate Madden play. And I love that from Sean McVay. And he said, fuck you to everybody who bet the 49ers spread. So that was awesome, bro. I love that. I don't have a problem with that. I liked it too. That was awesome. I thought that was awesome.
I wouldn't have liked it if I was a 49ers better.
Right.
At that point. But good thing I believed in the Rams that week and we got that done plus 7.5. Loved it.
Right.
Now I want to talk about the Falcons and the Packers game.
That was a good.
What a game that was.
Great game. I like, dude. Desmond Ridder looks good with his feet.
Desmond Ridder looks
he's got
very good.
And he's got arm talent too.
You think it's part of the system, or do you think it's more so himself?
Definitely part of the system with Arthur Smith scheming everybody open. The Falcons have the most unique run game in the entire NFL with Arthur Smith being able to scheme. Well, first of all, I want to say this. Bijan Robinson makes everything easier. Like, even if Arthur Smith schemes a perfect play up, which he does, they have the best run game in the NFL. But Bijan Robinson makes 3 guys miss on every time he gets the ball.
That's why I believed in him.
Bijan Robinson is unbelievable.
Yeah. That's why I drafted him top 10 or top 5, something like that. I forgot where. But.
Big fan of Bijan Robinson and big fan of that pick that they took him with it. 8th overall, I think it was in this.
Yeah, and I would keep on betting Bijan this upcoming season too. I think Ellinger might get less reps now that Bijan's getting more involved in the offense. The only thing I have with Arthur Smith's offense is he's not utilizing his talents, his first round picks that he drafted. Sure,
dude, I was going to talk about this. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
he's been in the league. This is 3rd year, I think.
I think so. 3rd year.
He has not had the kind of season, the kind of seasons that you think that he would have coming out of college. This guy's a unicorn. He's a wide receiver and a tight end, and he can move, and he's fast, and he's got hands. and I don't know why he hasn't been getting as much
Utilizing the
production
offense.
as we think. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
And the same thing with Drake London. You know, you draft him first round, early first round, and he's not really getting the ball thrown to as
But
much.
the Falcons are winning, and that's all that matters. Falcons are
Well,
winning,
yeah,
that's all
that's
that
true.
matters.
That is true. But long-term success, I don't, I feel like you got to utilize your talent at some point.
And on the Packers side of the ball, Jordan Love's the guy. Jordan Love's the guy.
Yeah,
Jordan
you
Love
know,
has terrific arm talent, bro.
he didn't get it done
Terrific.
this game, but he showed some promise again this game.
He doesn't force the ball. He doesn't force the ball where when it doesn't need to. He takes what's given to him. Think, what was your team that you want to watch more going forward?
You're talking about out of the whole Sunday slate and
Right,
stuff.
right.
I want to see more out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, going these past 2 weeks, they really haven't wowed me as much as they did. And they just kind of been disappointing. I was excited to see the Jaguars this year. It's still week 2 and everything. I think Trevor Lawrence will pick it up. But I want to see more from them. They're really showing they really should show some promise and really should take this division and blow it out of the water. But it's not really looking like that right now.
I disagree. I think the Jaguars defense is phenomenal. I think they're so underrated. Tyson Campbell is the corner for the Jaguars is unbelievable. He doesn't get as much recognition because he's not a flashy name or doesn't get as many interceptions as he should. But this guy always shows up on tape, and he knows his assignment and he doesn't make mistakes. And that whole Jaguars defense is fundamentally sound. And that defensive line is a problem. They gave Mahomes problems all day long and they made him uncomfortable. Now Mahomes and he made unbelievable plays,
That's true.
and he can create. But the Jaguars defense should not be slept on. And that offense is gonna start clicking more as the season goes on. I think the Jaguars are gonna be in the playoffs again and they'll be around. They'll be
I
around.
mean, I agree. That division, the AFC South is not that good. So I think they'll definitely get their division wins against Houston. Maybe go 1-1 with the Colts. You never know. But I think they'll take that division sometime. They have to pick up their offense a little bit.
Speaking of the Colts,
Oh yeah.
Anthony Richardson put that team on his back before he got a
Anthony
concussion and
Richardson
stood
is
out.
becoming one of my favorite quarterbacks in the
Yeah.
NFL right now.
Oh yeah. I said this, but I wish you screenshotted that text I sent you back in May after he was drafted, or before the draft, actually, I think it was. Excuse me.
You got that?
Well, yeah, not feeling great.
All right.
But Anthony Richardson had 2 rushing touchdowns, and this guy's fast, bro. This guy. So there was a breakdown on it, and he had a jet sweep. He had an orbit motion coming around the back, and he
Yep.
faked it, and then showed his bare hand to the defense with his back with the number 5 facing the defense, and he held out his hand with his bare hand and faked out the entire defense. The defense thought the jet sweep was going to go.
He's doing this as a rookie.
Flew around the back, picked up a block, and scored. And that play he happened to get a concussion on, but Anthony Richardson looks impressive, and the Colts are going to be in really, really good hands. And not even just his running ability, but his arm talent is through the roof, bro. This guy's potential. Now he has to be able to not be able. He has to stop taking the hits. He got blown up in week 1 against the Jaguars. He got hurt with his knee. He was fine, but he got a concussion this time around, and he's got to be able to protect himself more going forward because those hits are going to start adding up on him. And we saw what happened to Cam Newton towards the end of his career.
That's exactly what I was saying. He reminds me of Cam Newton with his arm talent, his size, his throwing ability, everything, the way he thinks about the game, the way he's a winner. He wants to win. He just reminds me of Cam Newton. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I think he's got better arm talent than Cam Newton does. I think
in
the
his
ball comes
prime?
out of his hand smoother, and
Okay.
I think his accuracy is way better than Cam. Remember accuracy is always a problem with Cam Newton. Remember
Yeah.
that? And I think Anthony Richardson is a better prototype of what Cam Newton was coming out of college.
You're saying he's going to be better than Cam Newton?
Well, it's different. I don't like comparing players that much because every player is different.
Different in their own way. I get that.
But Anthony Richardson is going to be, I think, in my opinion, I said this to you coming out of the draft, MVP talent, MVP candidate in the next 2 to 3 years. I truly believe that. And this guy is going to be a guy. going forward, and the guy that we're
Mhm.
not gonna be able to forget about.
Yeah, and I was wrong, I'm pretty sure, with my bet. I think I took the Texans this game. But
Yeah, you
now
did.
I
Yes,
believe
you
in the
did.
Colts more. But yeah, so that was a rough one. That was one of my bets that I lost. Most of the bets I actually look back at the video were right. So if you guys want to watch and tune in for my bets, Jiggy and Joe Cash Flow, it's gonna happen it's gonna happen Thursday. So be tuned for that. Um you
Can't wait
know,
for that. Can't wait for that. Week
one of my
one,
more
bro.
surprising games that one of the bets I got right, but one of the more surprising games was the Giants and the Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
That was a
Okay.
very interesting game. And it shows I feel
Glad you
like it
brought that up.
shows a lot on the Giants this upcoming season. It shows that they don't give up. What do you think?
The Arizona Cardinals almost beat the Commanders in week one.
Mhm.
The Arizona Cardinals put up 20. It was, I think, was it 21-28-0 from the Giants? I think it was 28-0. The
I
Giants
think
started coming back.
they had a 27 point or 24-point lead or something like that.
Either
21.
way, Josh Dobbs doesn't look as bad as I thought he would. New offensive coordinator in Arizona, his name is Drew Petzing, along with the head coach Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon brought him in, and Drew Petzing is doing a great job with Joshua Dobbs. And I don't think Kyler Murray is gonna play another game for the Cardinals. I want to say that. I think the Cardinals are in full rebuild mode. If Kyler Murray, I want to talk about this for a second because this is interesting. If Kyler Murray comes back and gets hurt again, the Cardinals are going to owe him, I think, $50 million in injury guarantees.
Wow.
And it just doesn't make sense financially for him to come back. And I don't know if Cardinals fans like Kyler Murray either. Like I don't see people pounding the table for Kyler Murray, like, or supporting Kyler Murray through this.
No.
But it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Kyler Murray going forward. But I think he's played his last game with the Arizona Cardinals, and I think they're gonna be in good position next in the draft if they trade Kyler with those draft picks. I think they're gonna get even stronger. But
Mhm.
this defensive line for the Cardinals is really, really good, and we have to keep an eye on that going forward.
Yeah, and I think for Kyler Murray going forward, I'm rooting for the most for him. I was a Kyler Murray fan back then. I think he could still shine in another system. Uh,
No, I don't
you don't
know.
think so? I don't know.
I
Well,
can't. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be a Cardinal again. He's gonna get a fresh start somewhere else, I believe.
yeah, I
But
think so too.
but when you have to have a clause in his contract where he has to watch a certain amount of tape, that's for a franchise quarterback making $200 million. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's true.
So we'll see what happens with him going forward. I hope he gets healthy. Obviously,
Hmm.
um, and it's gonna be an interesting situation to watch.
In terms of the Giants, this was not a pretty win. They had to come back in the second half, down 20 plus.
Yep.
Um, Saquon Barkley got hurt. He had an ankle injury. He's going to be out for a little while. The Giants going forward, they kind of remind me, the Cardinals kind of remind me, sorry, of the Detroit Lions from last year. They were kind of like the team that was like underrated, but like couldn't ever pull out a win. That's what I think the Cardinals are this year. But in terms of the Giants, I feel like Daniel, I don't know. I really don't know the future for the Giants. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Um, I don't know. What do you think of the Giants' future?
Well,
This
I
upcoming
want to
season?
say something first. I disagree with you on the fact that Arizona Cardinals are the same kind of team
With
as
the
the
Lions.
Lions last year, because the Lions had all kinds of expectations last year. Cardinals got everybody pumped up, and they had a good team last year, bro. And going to this year, everyone thought the Cardinals were tanking. They traded Isaiah Simmons to the Giants for a seventh-round pick, and Kyler Murray's out. Everyone thought this was gonna be a lost year for the Cardinals, and Jonathan Gannon's got this team going, man. So two different situations going to the season, but the future of the Giants, dude, I don't know. That offensive line, man, is awful. They Evan Neal on the right side. I don't know what's going on there. high draft pick last year. Year two, you expect a big leap from him, and it hasn't happened. Andrew Thomas on the left side is not playing well either. They have a rookie center, John Michael Schmitz. And the future of the team looks bleak right now. They've been trying to fix the offensive line for many years now, and they haven't been able to do it. And that's cause for concern. So we'll see what happens to them going forward. But Brian Daboll and that staff, I have a tremendous amount of confidence in. They have a great coaching staff. But the talent on the offensive side of the ball, and the defense isn't playing well either. I don't know what's going on. It's a weird situation. I think they're going to figure it out. I don't think they're going to be completely horrible this year. I expect them to figure it out. But we'll see going forward. What's another game you liked from this past weekend?
I loved Detroit and Seattle. Very high scoring game. Seattle came back and overtime too, an overtime win. Very good game. It was 37-31 to Seattle. Geno Smith, 328 passing yards. Really good game from him. Overall, really good game to watch. And the Lions, I feel like, should have pulled this one out. I think I took the Lions in this one. But I don't know. Overall, I thought it was pretty decent. What'd you think?
We both took the Lions in this game, and we were winning overtime. I texted you on that drive. I was like, Jared Goff's going to pull it out. Jared Goff's going to pull it out, and didn't touch the ball in overtime because Geno Smith drove right down the field and scored, and the game was over. I like the Lions this season. I think I still like the Lions team. Too. The Lions are a very good team. They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson for a long time. Who knows if he'll be back for their playoff run or their playoff push, maybe at the end of the season. But to a torn pec. So we'll see going forward. And the Seahawks are a very good team as well. I like the Seahawks. I like their defense. Their defense looked a lot better than they did in week one.
For sure.
And they're another team to watch going forward. I like there's a lot of teams in the NFC that have potential to make a run, but there's always going to be some guys that, or some teams that break off at the end of the year, and it's going to be interesting to see which teams those are.
Yeah, I think the final team, that was a very good game, but I think the final team we should talk about in this show is, of course, the Jets. What an abysmal game that was. Very disappointing. The week before going to the game, I had high expectations for the Jets. I thought they were going to fight with the Dallas Cowboys, the very dominant looking Dallas Cowboys from week one. They looked like that in week two. Dak Prescott had a great game. CeeDee Lamb, it got the ball almost every like 2 or 3 plays he got the ball against DJ Reed. It was just disappointing, man. Sauce interception drop. That was very disappointing. Could have changed the game.
Yeah.
It's just like, but one thing I could take from this game is that it wasn't Zach Wilson. The main problem wasn't Zach Wilson. That was my take. It was the offensive line. Very, very bad performance from the offensive line. Yep. Very disappointed. We need to make a change very soon.
Zach Wilson does not deserve to be getting the hate and the slander that he's getting after this game. This offensive line was non-existent. Dwayne Brown was getting beat almost every other play. You had Mekhi Becton played all right, but he had I think 4 holding penalties and 2 false starts.
Yep.
So that was another problem, the penalties.
That just shows they were scared of the Cowboys defensive line. That's what we can't do.
But you can't have miscommunication. Right. The Cowboys defensive line was all over Zach Wilson all day long. They got push up the middle. They got push on. Their ends got around. They couldn't pick up stunts. Elijah Vera-Tucker missed a stunt that got Zach Wilson killed by Micah Parsons for the first sack of the game. There's not much to say. There's not much else to say. We had concerns about this going into the season, the offensive line, and we're proven to be right about the offensive line right now.
Yep.
I don't see how this gets better, except that we're not going to face the Dallas Cowboys every week.
Exactly. We're not going to face that D-line. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
But it definitely needs some work. For sure.
The fact that Zach Wilson threw 3 interceptions, he was trying to force the ball to try to make something happen in garbage time. I'm not sure what else you wanted him to do in that kind of situation. If they
Yeah.
ran the ball, everyone would have been pissed off and say, "Why you're down 2 scores? Throw the fucking ball." And
And you look at that stat line, and people are going to criticize him for that with the 3 interceptions, but it was in garbage time. He was throwing it deep. They weren't the prettiest looking balls, but he had to do what he had to do.
they were down. And Brees Hall was complaining about the amount of touches he got. I mean, it's tough to get him carries when you're down by the margin that they were down. You have to be able to throw the ball, and the run
Yeah,
game wasn't even working either. Dalvin Cook got strip sacked by Micah Parsons. That also changed a lot of things and momentum, even though we didn't have much momentum at all in this game.
right.
The offense was but Robert Saleh's press conference yesterday was interesting, and I want to talk about this for a second. Before the 2-minute warning, before Zach Wilson drove down the field for a field goal before half, they ran the Cowboys offense was on the field for 50 plays. Jets offense only had 13.
That
The
shows
Jets
something.
offense couldn't stay on the field, and the Jets defense couldn't get off the field. So it was
Mhm.
just an all around bad day for the Jets. And this upcoming game against New England is a must win. You cannot lose this game.
Right.
If they lose this game to New England, it's going to get loud for Zach Wilson.
Very.
Like
And I'm not
this is a playoff
underestimating
game.
the
Yo, Joe,
Patriots.
hold on. Joe, this is a fucking playoff game this week. We cannot lose this game to New England Patriots at home.
No.
That cannot happen. You cannot go down 1-2 and lose to a division rival in the Patriots. You can't do it. This team needs to be able to turn it up. This team needs to turn up the heat. This team needs to get in a rhythm early. You're not facing the Dallas Cowboys with their defense really is the 85 Bears. Whatever DJ Reed said, they're the 85 Bears. Or they feel like they're the
Micah
85
Parsons
Bears.
is going to be Defensive Player of the Year, I think. A race with
MVP,
TJ Watt, but I
MVP,
think,
MVP, TJ Watt as well.
yeah, but I
Like
think Micah Parsons will take it this year.
uh, there's really I don't know what else to say about this game coming up, man. It's a must win, and the offense has to look a lot better. We said that Zach Wilson doesn't this game should not be put on Zach Wilson, but if Aaron Rodgers in this game, he processes everything differently. He gets the ball out quicker. We can scheme up protections a little bit different. He's more intelligent.
Yeah, which
So this
also
game probably could have
keeps.
been a little bit different with Aaron in the game.
Yeah,
But Aaron would have gotten hit a lot too. This offensive
exactly.
line is horrendous. It's awful, Joe. It's awful.
And Aaron Rodgers pointed it out too in training camp. And I think we should definitely should sign a lineman like Lowell Collins. He got released recently. I think we should pick him up. I think we should develop some more of our talent, like Tippmann, obviously. Max Mitchell should come back hopefully soon. It's just like very
Max Mitchell's not going to do
disappointing.
a thing, bro. He's
I
not going to
know.
do a thing, dude. What other combination can you put out on this line right now that can be better? There's not. This offensive line was neglected, but this offensive line, bro, is we need to figure it out. They
Yep.
need to figure it out.
And not only is this game important, the Jets haven't beaten the Patriots since 2015. We really need this win. We need to be 2-0 in division wins. I feel with Zach Wilson, division wins.
This is a must win. This is
It's
a
a must
must
win.
win.
Division wins are the most important wins in football.
It's not even that. It's not even about that. Zach Wilson needs to win this game.
Yeah.
Like Zach Wilson looked more confident. He didn't look stressed out. He looked confident in the pocket. He looked confident in his throwing ability.
And he shook off his
I like the
mistakes
way
too.
Zach Wilson looked.
Yeah.
But it's tough to look really, really good. And Zach Wilson getting killed all day today. And how shitty he looked with the Dallas defensive line. He's probably gonna go to the Super Bowl this year. That's my Super Bowl pick coming out of the NFC.
Yeah.
And it's tough to be a quarterback when you're getting hit every single play.
It's just a casual take.
And should Zach Wilson get the ball out faster in certain situations? Of course he should.
For sure.
Of course, it was not all on the offensive line. Zach Wilson has to get the ball out faster in some situations, but the majority of the bullshit that happened with this offense on Sunday was offensive line. That was it. It was the offensive lines. It was this loss was on the offensive line. The defense can't do much when they're on the field all the time and they're getting gassed.
Exactly. And then like considering that the
Now, hold
defense
on.
stopped.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I do want to say this about the defense. They got to get off the field on third down against Mac Jones. Like, it just has to be done.
Oh man,
You cannot give up 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 14s to CeeDee Lamb. Like,
roughing the passer
Dak Prescott
calls,
scampers for 15
penalties.
yards.
Yeah, we got to stop with the penalties. That's all we got to do. But that's
Well,
to wrap it up, Max. What do you have to say?
The John Franklin Myers,
Oh yeah,
roughing the passer was absolute bullshit. But
it was. But you got to sometimes you got to be disciplined. But that was a mistake. But other than that, you got to be disciplined with the other calls. You know, Max, we have less than a minute. I don't know if you have anything else to say. This is a must win. That's all I
just have
gotta
to
say.
play better. Just have to play better and stop bashing Zach Wilson. We have to win this week. That's it.
That's it. Must win.
We'll show Thursday with our picks for week 3. And thank you guys for watching. Better show Thursday. Peace.